Women and revolution are alive and inseparable. Women and youth, children, hit the hardest from the economic fallouts are central to the building and ushering in of an economic system that will be vibrant and fulfilling, that will have us planning an economy to feed, house, and educate all of us, because profits will be booted out the fabric of our lives. As Sally Hart says, there is no cheaper way to be happy. Many of us work in hotels, cleaning rooms, still have to clean and cook and feed the family, do the laundry, and help the kids with homework. Many of us sit at computers all day long, making sure that deliveries are made or that our boss's manuscripts are typed. Many of us still, like that Ms. Magazine cover of many years ago, balance children, iron pots, laundry with both arms. Remember that well, some of you are too young, but this woman's the front of the magazine and she's balancing all these things. And like, that's the goal of feminism, is to be a superwoman? No way. So, and then many of us pluck chickens, snap tops on bottles, or insert minuscule parts into computers in factories. Many of us are told to work harder and smarter, with less pay, and to pay more into health care at $10 or less an hour. Many of us immigrant women have lost our homes and our families, and we get deported even if our children are born in the United States. Oh yeah, Mr. Capitalist, major exploiter, land robber, CEO scoundrel, warmonger, bailouts, the Wall Street rascal, you love working us to death. Make us sell our bodies to feed the kids or get an education. Force us to buy pencils and books and medications. Profit is your king, and we know it, and we say enough. Women say no. Like our sisters before us, those revolutionaries, many of whom are unsung, we are alive and willing to fight for a better world. Sally Hart and the other women leaders leave us a legacy, one that is beautiful, one that empowers us, one that will lead us to our victory of socialism and feminism. And this weekend, we continue the fight for women's liberation, because it's as necessary as breathing. In my own revolutionary path, I'm homegrown, Oakland, California, first U.S.-born daughter of immigrants from China. My father immigrated in 1912, my mother in 1933. We brought 3 sisters over to this country in 1933, and then we 7 children grew up in Oakland's Chinatown during the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Most of the Chinese immigrants worked as domestics, washing laundry, caning chairs, fishing, canning, sewing, operating small herb and food stores. With each birth of a daughter, my mother wept, because more than anything, a son was desired to carry on the family name. I did not know what this meant when I was a girl, but I began to ask questions, albeit in silence. Cultural norms, from a small village in China to Chinatown in Oakland, California, and yes, sexism prevailed, while Asian immigrants took the taunts of Ching Chong Chinamen and were excluded in 1882 in the Chinese Exclusion Act and told to go back where they belong. Girls don't talk or make their opinions known. Movies and teen magazines told me I should behave, how I should look, and if I didn't snag a man to marry me, woe and self-pity were my reward. Fortunately, things change. The personal is political, and my experience and that of other sisters and brothers interpenetrates our very lives. We are not isolated. We are not alone, nor are we condemned to live as victims on planet Earth because of our race, because of our gender, because of our economic class. It was damned exciting for me to go to college in my mid-30s for the first time. Here I was, a mere secretary, I thought, going to school. Wow, I'd meet young women and men who'd show me the way. I'd find out what the world is about. I'd exhilarate in what the experts in the humanities, in art and literature would tell me how to contribute to society. Hell, somebody had to tell me what to do. Meeting radical women. Meeting radical women at San Francisco State in the early 70s was pivotal to turning my life around. And of course, learning about our history as women, as working people, as people of color, as agents of change, radical change, coalesce in community with others. I never knew that a socialist feminist organization like Radical Women existed. I've been a joiner in high school and as a young woman. Groups like the Oakland Chinese Bowling Club attracted me. Becoming an active part of a political women's organization opened up opportunities that I had not been aware of. Those of speaking out, debating, giving criticism, taking it and not falling down on the floor, making decisions, and organizing to get what we need. That I had a role in making things happen appealed to my once private self, and of which led me to become the first organizer of the Women Writers Union that began at San Francisco State. Thank you. And just being here and seeing all the posters and seeing all of you here and hearing the introductions and the welcoming, I realized how rich a history Radical Women has. It started in 1967. Clara Fraser, Gloria Martin, and Melba Windoffer, socialists, mothers, working men, women, organizers all founded RW because it was desperately needed to fight sexism in the left and in society. And leadership was a concept that burned brightly for these highly conscious activists. Radical Women grew first at the University of Washington campus and blossomed into the community. Abortion rights were first won in Seattle, Washington, and the lively socialist feminist organization led with African American women fighting poverty as well as daring to be revolutionaries. Veteran RW members fought alongside the Black Panthers against racism and for breakfast and educational programs and child care, and made possible that women could do what was considered men's work at Seattle City Light. Learning the history of radical women radicalized me further. While I studied and continued to work as a secretary at Bethlehem Steel Corporation, a fighting women's organization, how powerful, how exciting, how revolutionary was that? Organizing, for example, against right-wing fundamentalist bigots who told women that we had no right to decide what to do with our own bodies. Holding the line against anti-woman and racist taunts at women's clinics. Having right-wingers, women and men, scooshed between our legs as we defenders of reproductive justice linked arms and chanted, "Our bodies, our lives, our right to decide." And being asked if we had AIDS since we defended women's right to choose. This was the kind of education that socked me in the eye. This was the kind of education that said, fight back. When I was taking part wasn't for action's sake, because RW offered theory and practice. RW offered study and activism and artistic expression. And most beautiful of all, Radical Women made leadership a reality, one that sisters could breathe and believe. Being on the revolutionary path with Radical Women and with our sister organization, the Freedom Socialist Party, is the best gift in the world. As Clara Fraser, a co-founder of Radical Women, said, "I learned that the act of fighting injustice is full of hope and joy when it is voiced, and properly so, as a slice of innate historical condition, an ancient reaching out for universal human fulfillment. Today we need RW's bold vision and tenacity more than ever.